Hello from Biarritz in France. This is where I'm currently living, and I thought I would share a little life update on what it's like to live on a Mercury IC line with no parans. It's like when you live in a place where there are no latitude crossings, when there are no parans. That's what we're going to be talking about in today's video. Here is my little town in Basque country, France, right close to Biarritz. So I'm living 2 degrees away from a Mercury IC line. Mercury has been relocated to my 4th house along with Venus. Sun is relocated to my 3rd house in my relocated chart here in France. And so this makes for loving the neighborhood, loving the area, loving getting around town, connecting with the home, the place, feeling very at home in the country of where I'm living in. Venus, Mercury in the 4th house is really lovely for feeling a connection or a sense of home within a place. One of the telltale signs I see for someone when they want to find their home. And Mercury IC is really great, but I am 2 degrees away. So it is kind of more of we're starting to get into medium strength territory here. When I was living in Strasbourg, I was living at 0 degrees of the Venus IC. When you live on a line like that in astrocartography, you feel it. You feel that energy intensely. And when I was living in Strasbourg, it was a magical, magical place. I also don't have any parans, no paran lines, which are those latitude crossings. And that's why it's really important to use a software like SolarFire, where you can visibly see them at a glance. Looking at a map, you can see exactly what latitude is what energy is what, where. And you know, these parans, you can feel them up to 70 miles. So 70 miles is really the orb of influence for parans. And the thing is, I have a paran, but it's 74 miles away. So it's not really within orb. And it's just very, very weak. I'm not really feeling it here. And it's the Sun-Saturn paran, which is nice. I lived on the Sun-Saturn paran in Corsica for 2 years, and I really loved it. I lived directly on that paran, and it was really motivating. I got a lot of work done. I wrote my book. I don't think I ever would have been able to write a book if I weren't on such a disciplinary, self-reliant, self-motivating line like the Sun-Saturn paran is. And to be honest, if it were me, I would want to live on a paran, because parans give you additional energy. They give you some more details to the story, more nuance, some more activated themes that are happening in a certain latitude, a certain place. And so here in Biarritz, I don't really have any parans. And I've always lived on a paran. My entire life, I have lived directly on or very close to a paran line. And so for the first time in my life to not be on a paran line, it does feel more, not really much here. It's funny because, you know, this area of Biarritz, Basque country in France, it's the most beautiful region of France that I've ever been in. I feel so peaceful here. I feel so calm. I love it here. You know, there's nothing to complain about with Basque country. It was just, I mean, I live in heaven. Like, look at this. It's just absolutely beautiful. I'm so close to the surf, so close to the water. There's so many great restaurants here, so much here. People are so nice and friendly, but I have no paran lines. And I've noticed for a lot of my clients that when you don't live on a paran line, there's just, you know, less story being told, less kind of more energy not really being there as other places. Now, would I prefer to live on a place where there are no parans versus a place where there are difficult parans? Absolutely. If I had to choose between living on a hard paran like Mars, Pluto, versus living in a place where there are no parans, I would definitely choose the no parans. I do not want to live on a Mars, Pluto paran line, right? But there's something to be said about not feeling the, you know, the excitement, the inspiration, the energy of like, there's something here. And that's the thing about living directly on a line or close to one, or living on a paran line, is that there kind of is like this energy of like, there's something active here for you. There's something that's important for you to do. There's something being kind of like this energy of like doingness or activeness, or there's something important here for the person. Do I feel like there's anything here for me? Not really. And when I was living in Strasbourg and Corsica, even Corsica was so isolating. Like, I had a hard time in Corsica. But I was living directly on my Venus IC, like very, very close to that line. and I was living directly on a paran, and there was just more there for me. Like I felt like I was supposed to be there. I felt like I was meant to be there for a reason, to write the book, to build my YouTube channel, you know, like I felt such a purpose there, and I don't really feel that here. Just being a farther distance from that Mercury line, farther from the Saturn, very far from the Venus. I definitely want to move back to that Venus IC line, directly to it if I can, or just get to a paran, just move to a paran line. And one of the top spots that I'm really considering is Lille, France, because I'll be on my Saturn ascendant line, which I have a nice Saturn. I'll include a video of my recent video where I talk about my Saturn line and my Saturn experiences. But I also have some of my best parans going through Lille. I have the Jupiter Moon paran. I have a Moon Venus paran, I believe. I mean, there's just very social, very friendship, love, harmony, ease, creativity. It's just a lot of good energy on those paran lines. And so just getting to a place on a latitude where I'm gonna be in a place where we have that energy, oh my gosh, so much better. So, my recommendation for any of you astrocartographers out there who are looking for the best place, who are doing client readings, who want to help people find their home in life, I really recommend going to a nice paran line. And I've got those amazing paran lines in Lille, and I also have the Sun Uranus, which I loved living on. People love Sun Uranus parans, usually. And that's going right through Strasbourg for me. And so I'm trying to get back. I'll keep you posted on if I ever move back to Strasbourg or Lille. And maybe I'll manifest this. Let's document the journey and see if I am able to manifest going back there. But just wanted to give this little update on what it's like to live in a place where you don't have any paran lines, or if you do have one, but it's super far away, like 73, 74 miles like mine is, and you just don't feel like there's much here for you. Even though it's beautiful and you love it and it's a perfect place and it has everything you've ever wanted and it ticks all the boxes, you still feel like there's nothing really here for me. And that's what happens when you don't live in a place where there are any parans and you also live farther away from an ACG line. As a young person, 29, in my 20s, I want adventure, I want to be stimulated by life, I want activeness, I want to be stretched by life experiences. For me, I need to get directly to an ACG line, even though ACG lines, when you live on them, they're very intense. But still, for me, for the kind of person I am, for the phase of life that I'm in right now, that's what I want.